How's everybody doing today? Everybody's happy and thrilled
No,
and
it's fine.
pleased?
It's fine. Everything is
It's
good.
fine. Oh yeah,
Are you
okay.
exhausted from yesterday? Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was such a long day.
I know it sounds ridiculous, but like having fun is the most exhausting thing.
It was fine. It was a long day. It was a lot of fun. We bought the 4-pound taco. It was fine.
What is
Okay,
the
so like
4-pound
at
taco?
the CNE how they have the weird food. This year's was a 4-pound taco.
Okay.
I just wanted pierogies. Like, no, let's buy a $55
Taco.
55
4-pound taco.
for 4 pound. Well, I don't know how much.
How many of it did you feed?
Just the two of us. I wish I'd had a scale so that I could weigh it because I don't believe it.
Oh my
But I didn't carry it.
You could have just eaten that yesterday, and I would be understanding that you're tired today. Like you're still digesting.
Yeah, your body's still working.
Hello, and welcome to the Stay at Homes. I'm Brandon.
I'm Hannah.
And I'm Lucy.
And today we're going to talk about the real fun subject of potty training. My kids, my eldest, Michelle, is potty trained. She has been for a number of years. She is almost 5. And my twins are currently going through potty training. So I'm in the thick of it. But unchunt. That was a terrible drum roll or whatever the rim shot sound effect. That was
Whatever that was supposed to
but
be.
it's just fun and stuff. Hannah, are your 2 boys potty trained?
Yeah, so my eldest R is fully potty trained, and I think just before Michelle did, maybe, or similar timing around then.
Similar around there, yep.
Yeah, he's been potty trained since about 2.5, just around then. And then Elle is also, we started it around June or July, and it's taken him a little bit longer to kind of figure it out, but he's been out of diapers. My kids are camels, so even if they weren't telling us about the feelings, they can hold it. So, and with R too, like from the moment we potty trained him, overnights too. Like he hasn't been in diapers since we stopped. And Elle, we did that in July. I went away for a weekend. It's kind of Corey's thing. When R wanted to learn, like start potty training, he was showing signs. We're like, hey, let's do this. Corey did it with him, and it was like a 3-day, like, let's hyper focus on you. But Elle was still a really little baby. So I did Elle time, and Corey did the potty training with R, and it really, really changed their relationship. Like they got super, super close because they spent so much time together for 3 days. And then Corey was like, I had such a lovely time with R that with our next kid, like with Elle, I really want to do it again. So I'm like, have at it. You want to do this potty training thing? Amazing. It's all yours. So yeah, so Corey did potty training for both my kids. Obviously, like beyond those few days, we both have to deal with accidents and bringing them to the bathroom and all those things. But yeah, my kids are both potty trained, and Lucy, I'm assuming.
I would hope so. He's
Is
7.
your kid potty trained?
Yes. And he was potty trained at daycare.
Oh.
So you didn't do it?
He was in part-time daycare. It was like 2 days a week. But it was like he just came home and he was potty trained. It was the weirdest thing. But I think it was because some of the kids in his daycare class were already potty trained. So the teacher was making a point of like taking them at scheduled times to their little like toilet area. So I think that was part of it, the routine, and like watching some of the kids doing it already encouraged him to, I want to be like all these other people, all these other kids that I'm my peers, that I'm around. So I think that was a big part of it. And then he just, and we just had like a potty out and like books, stacks of books next to the potty. So it was like every time you go, we get to read a book. And that was really helpful. But yeah.
I just want to say we're similar with Elle. It was encouraged by daycare for us too, because they said to us, he can hold it. Like he has no problem holding it. And because Elle has a big brother, he wanted to wear underwear, not a diaper. And so one morning we're like, okay, fine, no problem. We'll just put underwear on top of your diaper. And we didn't think anything of it. We just sent him to daycare, and I kind of forgot to mention it to them when I did drop off. And when I picked him up, they were like, so are we potty training? Like, this is what we're doing now? And I was like, oh, I don't know. And they were like, oh, because you sent him with underwear over top of his diaper, we thought that meant that you wanted to potty train. And I was like, oh, I mean, we can, sure. And then they were like, well, he's been out of a diaper all day and he hasn't had an accident, so go with it. And they were like, this is your opportunity. Don't miss it. Do it now. And we're like, okay, I guess we're potty training.
I feel I was just remembering actually that like that's how I knew that that's what was going on, because the kid was coming home with like dry diapers every day. So that, yeah.
And how old was your kid?
I think it was 3, maybe.
Okay.
So with the kid, it basically was the school started doing it, right? Is the school in that? And when he comes home, are you guys like just continuing it when you guys come home, or did it turn into like then he just wore diapers and it was just kind of until he can do it during the day? Like, what were weekends like? I guess is what I should ask. When he like decided to start doing, did you just like continue with it, or did you?
We had the potty out for a while.
Oh, okay.
And it was like, hey, do you have to go pee? Hey, do you have to go to the bathroom? That kind of thing. And then I think he like moved up in he graduated from like the one classroom to the other classroom. It's like with the older kids. Okay. And I think that's when it kind of like started to kick off, because like he was with the older kids who were already potty trained, and they were at certain like times during the day, they were going to the bathroom.
So he's in the cycle.
So I think
like he's in like the with them
so
doing
it was
the
like,
stuff.
and he was being subjected to seeing like subjected. That sounds terrible.
You will watch these children. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
He was being I'm gonna use it again. He was being subjected to like other children, his peers, using a toilet rather than a diaper.
Right.
So I think that like just that being exposed to that, and like seeing that his peers were doing it, and also just being asked, do you have to go to the bathroom? Okay, we're gonna go to the bathroom. Now's the time to go to the bathroom. Like, I think doing that really like encouraged him to do it, and having the potties out at home, and it not just being like a chore. Like, when you go, you get to read a book. He still has books by the toilet. And we haven't had potties in, 4 years.
Well, he associates going to the washroom with
anytime.
But he wants to like read. Like, what is it? Can I ask? What does he read? Is it like the newspaper, or like is he?
Yeah, that's what I'm picturing. The kid just sitting on the toilet, 7 years old, reading the daily paper.
Hey, Mom, where's the Financial Times?
Yeah, the theory of the universe. No, they're just like board books, like all those they're like short and sweet, but like he is so far beyond that in his reading level. Like, he can read so much better than that. He can read. He probably could read the Financial Times if he wanted to. But they're like little like short treat books.
Yeah,
that are like they're the same books he's always had next to the toilet.
Right.
They're just not on the floor anymore. Now they're on a shelf.
It's a quick and dirty in and out on the in the toilet.
Yeah, he wants
pretty much. Yeah.
He doesn't need a novel while he's there.
But yeah, like little board books. He has one that like makes noise, like a flip book. Like, it's just, but it's like, if you go to the bathroom, I will read you a book. And he's always been a big reader. Like, he loves to read. He loves to be read to. He loves to just even like go to the bookstore and just like look at books. Go to the library and look at the books. Like, it's not, so that was like a big draw for him, because he wanted to read and he wanted to be read to. And
so if I go, I get to read. I get to also,
and even one with a song.
Yeah,
nice.
There's like, do you remember those books from when we were kids that was like, they were really huge, and then they had like the icons down the side, but they were buttons, and if you press the button at certain points in the story, it like punctuated the story with like a noise.
Oh, yeah.
yes.
Yeah, of course.
Oh my
It's one of
gosh.
those, he has one of those, basically.
I'm giving a face because I was literally just given them as hand-me-downs recently, and I cannot stand the book.
They're
Drives
terrifying.
me crazy. And they just fight over pushing the buttons. And those books tell you to push the button like every other word. And I'm like, why?
Oh,
Like,
right.
have like 1 or 2
Yeah.
per page. It is like every sentence there's 1 or 2 buttons. It's like, and we have Beauty and the Beast, and it's like Gaston, like the terrible Gaston laugh, and it's like, oh my god, like please stop.
Because they have no like bass. It's like the speaker is so bad that it's like it makes everything sound like it's got no bass, and it's like in a tin can, and it's like anything that comes out of a tin can is scary. That's not true, but like anything that you say into a tin can.
Back to the beans, Brandon. Back to the beans.
Oh, don't bring me a don't. Yeah. So for right now with the twins with Rose and Junior learning, they both like kind of have 2 different ways of doing it, but Rose 100% like wants something read to her when she's like when she goes on the potty, and she wants to use what she calls as the big potty. She wants to use the big potty. She doesn't want to sit on the little ones. She doesn't like that. So Junior's got like 3 little potties that he gets to use whenever he wants to. They're all in different rooms, but like Rose must use the big potty, and she always wants. And we have a couple of books, and they're potty themed books. I think Lucy, you might have actually given us one of them. If not, 2. We have like 3 that are floating around the house, but.
Yes, I did offload all of our like
Yeah.
potty toilet humor humor books.
They love it. Junior loves the one where you get to actually flush the pee. Like it's like it's not a pop-up book, but it's got like the things that you can interact with where like, and
It's
then
like
the
a
pee goes down.
Sesame Street one.
It is a Sesame
It's
Street.
Grover.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Grover. Yeah.
we
Grover.
used it. We also used your book, Lucy.
Yeah.
I'm glad it got used. We also got it from like a neighbor when the
Oh
kid
my
was
goodness.
little. So it's seen the rounds, and obviously it works.
It's the childhood of the traveling book.
Yeah. It's just this book teaching kids how to go potty, or just at least say goodbye to their pee, because that's the last page.
Yeah.
It's like
You're-
bye bye pee, and then you flush the
Yeah.
toilet.
You'll have to take a picture of it for the social media so people know which
We'll
which
Sure,
book to
yeah,
buy.
add that.
yeah. You guys can comment if you guys have also used that book, because I'm sure it's got like a legion of fans now at this point, or at least 4 with our kids. But the Junior, sometimes he brings me a book, and I'm like, "Why are you bringing me a book?" And then he just sits down on the small potty, and he's like, and he wants me to read to him, and I'm like, "Do you have to go potty?" And he goes, "No." I'm like, no, that's not. This is not how this works. It's like he's like, no, I want you to read this book. But Rose and Michelle, I have found very, very similar in their ways that they learned. Michelle learned, and Rose is learning right now, which is they just hold it. They just hold it and they hold it and they hold it and they don't want to go and they don't want to go, and then they hold it, and then eventually now they're starting to get, or Michelle is, but I mean Rose is now getting very, very comfortable with actually going on the potty, but she still holds it, so she has that skill. And I just found that Junior just does not have that skill. Like if he has to go, even if it's a little bit, he's just like, I gotta go. Like I gotta go and I gotta pee. Anyways, I'm just wondering if either of you have experience with that, because that one's new in my house.
Well, my kids are kind of in the middle. Like my kids can hold it. They've always been those kids that like they can hold it for so long. But they're also the kids that are like so into what they're doing that even like they'll go and hold it, and then they have to pee and they're like, I haven't made it, because they're too focused on what they're doing. And that happens for them, for sure. But what about you, Lucy? What's your kid like?
He's very he can definitely hold his pee. Like when we go to like a cottage in the summer or we go for a long drive, he could go all day without having to go to the bathroom. But he has maybe had 3 accidents in his entire life.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Wait. You're telling me your kid has only had 3 accidents?
Yes. Sorry, I'm
Even-
shaking my
even
head.
early?
I'm shaking
Wait,
my head. Yes.
Even
yes.
What are you talking about?
Like okay, so your kid was at daycare and they're just peeing all the time, and you're not getting sent home all the pee clothes, like they're peeing on the toilet
What are you talking
constantly.
about?
I'm pretty sure they potty trained him in a diaper. Like he didn't wear underwear at daycare. I'm pretty sure they potty trained him.
So if he had an accident early on, he was in a
Okay.
diaper.
Anyway, so yeah, never
Right.
peed the bed, never like maybe peed his pants 3 times maybe.
I thought my kids were
What do you-
exceptional by
What?
like potty training overnight right away, but like
What are you?
okay, so okay, hold on, let's go back because
Sorry.
Brandon and I cannot. This does not compute.
It's like you're asking us to. Anyways, it's like there are aliens. They're there. They're there.
Right,
They
right.
visited
It's
us.
just your kid.
We shook.
Never,
Okay,
not once. I cannot like
We've
exaggerate it anymore. He's never once wet the bed.
I need to ask though. So he's never wet the bed. When did he stop wearing diapers to bed or pull-ups?
About the same time he was potty trained. I never
Yeah, okay.
once.
That just
Never
doesn't
once
compute.
have
That
I
makes
ever
sense.
purchased a box of overnight diapers or pull-ups. Not once.
That I will cut because I just don't think that any parent wants to hear that. It's just. You know what we
Sorry.
save money on?
I'm sorry.
No.
Never once. Never once. Not.
Like my kids, I will say my kids potty trained overnight early. Like the same, like 2.5. R was 2.5 when he stopped overnight. But like he still had accidents. It wasn't at the beginning. It was a process. But I was doing laundry. Like I had to do that laundry.
I'm wondering. It's just what was that thing that like clicked? Usually it takes a while. And there's usually stages. It's not just like one final click. It's like there's usually a bunch of things. They got to get comfortable on it. They got to learn how to hold it. Like there's all of these skills that go into it. As someone who has a kid that just obviously learned it like almost instantaneously. It's almost like you downloaded it into his brain. And now we're potty trained. And it's just like
the update.
It's like yeah. It's like and it's gonna happen.
Plugged him into the USB dock.
Yeah, he charged overnight and he woke up the next day and he was just like, thanks, Mom. And then that was it. Like, I'm just wondering if there was like, you noticed any type of way of, or you noticed anything where it clicked. You better have an answer.
I don't know.
Okay.
Did I don't know that I did anything differently. He doesn't wake up, which is the other weird thing. You'd think because he sleeps, because nothing wakes him up, that he would have overnight accidents, but no. Like,
So I have a follow-up question too. Like I know the difference between mine and yours, Brandon. Like my kids don't drink a lot of water, but yours do.
Yeah.
Lucy, what is your kid like? Is he
takes a bottle of water to bed with him.
okay? So that makes no difference for him either. Then there's like it's just you just had the update. You had the update, and that's all there is to it. Okay.
When Brandon was asking me that question, I was like, I have to remember to mention that he takes a bottle of water to bed with him, and then I forgot to mention it, and then you asked. And I was like, no,
Yeah,
he has like one of those little like toddler like sippy cups that like doesn't spill, and he takes it to bed with him. And sometimes he'll wake up in the night and he'll drink from it, and it'll be empty, and then he'll wake us up to fill it up. That's what wakes him up.
Hannah really thought she had you there.
No.
It's just like
Well, I was just like,
something.
maybe there's something. Maybe that's the difference.
No, and
right?
it's not. So he drinks water. I mean, I don't know if any kid drinks as much water as my kids, but if he takes a water bottle to bed, then he's at least on that level of he has water accessible to him. I know, Hannah, your kids, they don't. It's hard. You have said before that it's kind of hard to hydrate them to get them to drink water.
They just
So but
they have no interest in it.
Yeah.
I have no interest in hydration. What do I
Right.
do? I can go and play.
I want to make it clear I'm not depriving them. They have the option of having liquids, but like they're just like, water? Why? Like, what's the purpose of this? So that I have to pee? No thanks.
Yeah, same though.
Hannah has a running hose just anywhere they go. Anytime you can drink from this, it's fine. Please drink from this. I need you to. But then, no, it's fine. I'll have to go to the washroom. Yeah, and my kids drink, and like they just drink so much water, and they've always did that. And that's also been like the struggle with us is that, I mean, it helps for potty training because then they, especially obviously for Junior, it's just been like he has to pee every 10 minutes because he just drinks so much water. He's just always got a water water bottle around him, or he's carrying with him, or he's drinking from and stuff. But the fact that Lucy, the kid, doesn't, like, he brings water to bed and that he's still able to, like, hold it. Like,
it's not like he doesn't drink water during the day. Like, he's a big water drinker. He only drinks water, and he drinks a lot of water.
Yeah,
I think that the having accidents thing stems from him, like, just, he doesn't like being dirty. He doesn't like being wet, like, outside of, like, baths and splash pads and stuff. But, like, he doesn't like being dirty. Like, he doesn't like the feeling of it. He doesn't like dirt. He doesn't. He's not going to go and play in, like, a sandbox for the same reasons. I think that's probably part of it. Was it like it happened once and he was like, "Oh no, I don't like this. This is not happening again.
Not for me. This sensation's not for me. This is
no."
Well, and I think, again, it all comes down to the fact our kids are just all so different, and, like, everybody's experience is going to be so different. And, like, Lucy, I gotta tell you, I really was not expecting that, like, at all. I had zero expectations that you were gonna come and be like, yeah, no, like, exactly what you said. But I also know that there are, like, lots of different methods, quote unquote methods, that are out there. And when I started with R, we didn't really have any idea. Also, my first kid, it was like we had no plans for potty training. It was just kind of like, oh yeah, I guess we should be doing this at some point. And all right, well, he's excited to go on the toilet. Let's do this. Let's put books. So we read a lot of books. We had books in the bathroom. And I had done, like, I'd seen people post about it. I was like, well, maybe we'll do a sticker chart, or maybe we'll do that. Like, I had seen different things, and it was very loose of, like, we have potties around. It's an option if he wants to. We'll ask him. And then Melissa actually sent me when Michelle had started daycare or school, and Melissa sent me this one method, which I think, Brandon, you kind of touched on quickly, was the crash course.
Yeah.
And Melissa sent that to me. And again, like, every kid is so different. Not everything is going to work for every kid. But the one that she sent me, like, worked dreams. Like, it was a magical thing for us. Like, we did it with R, and it was like a 3-day crash course, and it wasn't anything about, like, I really liked the wording about it. It was not about, and again, it just worked for our family and for our kid. And it wasn't about us teaching our kids, but it was, the 3 days was about Corey learning what R's signals were, and, like, picking up on, okay, well, when he starts to do this, I can tell now that that's when he needs to use the potty, and I'm going to ask him. And so it was all about us learning his signals instead of us trying to push it on him or teach him. And it worked really well for us, and it did. But I've also heard of, like there's the stickers, or the, like, I know one person that used to give her kid Smarties every time she pooped, and it was like, you poop, you get a Smartie. And I do also know of one person, and she took her mat leave, and, like, and again, just different kids. She started putting him on the toilet, on the potty, because he was so little. I think at, like, 4 months old, just to get used to the feeling.
I've heard of that one before. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, you know, it was just, he was so used to that feeling. By the time he turned 1, he was fully, like, he was pooping on the toilet by the time he turned 1. And I remember our turning 1, I was like, what? Like, that is nowhere near our timeline at all. But yeah, just different kids, different methods, different things. And I don't know, Brandon, if that crash course method worked for you the same way it worked for me, or
and I also want to preface all of this by saying that the three of us are not experts in any, in no way.
No way.
Like, anything that we say on this is not us telling people how they should potty train, because
these are our experiences.
These are our experiences.
The things
doing
that worked
this
for us, and not.
And I'm not, it's just, and as you can tell, the three of us are like, I don't know, we just tried stuff, and then we just hoped, or in Lucy's case, had a miracle child that was able to just learn it overnight. Anyways,
people are going to start thinking he doesn't actually exist,
or that he's an iPhone. One of the two.
It's a Tamagotchi.
Oh no! What a dated reference.
So for Michelle, we did do the crash course, and it worked really well for her. Like I was saying, it was almost like she was 80% I would say somewhere around there. She was about 80% potty trained. Take that for what you will, what that percentage actually means. But she was also like still using pull-ups. She started using pull-ups during her nap and when at night. We can see the progress of her getting to the point where she's going to be eventually being able to hold it. But again, a lot of it comes down to she drinks a lot of water, and she drinks a lot of water at dinner time, and like the kid goes to bed with a water bottle. So like, and all our kids do. But that course really helped because, and I think it was really age appropriate for her. She started to learn, I think she was around 2.5. Maybe she was closer to...
She was 2.5.
Yeah, she was 2.5. Sorry, I'm just trying to do the math when I did it because like Corey, I also somehow was put in charge of the toilet training that weekend, and I did it over like a long weekend. I might have done it over Easter weekend or something, or Family Day weekend. Like I did it like in like a 3-day like holiday weekend is when we decided to do it. And I forget what Melissa was doing that weekend, but it basically had to be me, and just like how Hannah was saying, you like follow her around and just like make sure that she has you're finding the signals, you're finding the signs that she has to go. And day 2 was really rough, like it for her, because at that point she kind of realized, we're doing this, like this is something that we're doing every day. It wasn't just like a one day like fun thing that I did with Dad where I peed all over the floor or something. Like it's not, or I had accidents, or like I did those. It was like, we're actually day 2, we actually have to do this. So she started taking it more seriously, and by day 3 she did like a really good. She was almost potty trained. But we tried that method with the twins, and potty training twins is its own process of insanity. But potty training twins at the same time, they didn't respond the same way to that method. I think we're unable to kind of grasp, and you're unable to verbally kind of explain to them what we're doing. A thing with that crash course is what you're supposed to do is, whether you actually throw out the diapers or not, you're supposed to remove the diapers from the house so that they go, okay, diapers are not an option. This is the new option. And you can't really explain that to like an 18-month-old. Like it's really difficult to like just go, these diapers are gone. And then they just go, okay, bye-bye diapers. Like, I don't know what you're like, okay, fine. Okay. And then 5 minutes later, they're like, why can't I have a diaper? Like they don't have the comprehension yet to be able to do that. So that crash course was a little bit more, we had to kind of recalibrate on like what we wanted to do with that. And it was less of a crash course and more of like a method that we would just keep trying when we could. To answer your question, it's like, it varies, right? Like I've got 3 kids, and all 3 of them like deal with it in a completely different. One is successful, and one we're unable to actually use the method properly, or not properly. We're unable to use the method the way that it's meant to because we think that they're too young or they're not able to comprehend it. It's not a one size fits all. There is no method that I think fixes it. Like fixes it the wrong word. There is no method that can like teach them. There is no one method that can like just teach all kids. It's like you kind of have to figure out and calibrate as you go in order to be able to get it to work, because some kids hold it till they explode, like till they can't hold it anymore. And some kids can't wait to just keep going. And some kids get distracted, and some kids, it's just very different. But
that's where like in general, a general blanket saying for parenting is there is no one size fits all for any aspect of anything, because every kid is so different.
So Hannah, was it like a completely different experience with Elle, given that R had already been potty trained? And was there any difference there to being your second? Yeah.
So with R already doing it, Elle really wanted to do everything, right? Like anything that R does, Elle has to do at the same time, always, forever and always, I think. And it's kind of, my kids are naked kids. I don't know what your kids are like. My kids love to just be naked all the time. And it's like, can we at least put some underwear on? Like if we're going outside, we have to have something on you. All the tools that we used with R, it was like, the perfect little stools, which we did have stools out, but then like little seats that sit on the toilet, and we didn't have the little potty out, things like that. We didn't have any of those out for Elle. And we're like, how is he getting on the toilet? Like, it just doesn't make sense. And finally we saw him like walk down the little hall. We're like, let's just watch him. And it was like an acrobatic move. Like it was so funny because my kids are really little. Like getting on a toilet is like, it's not a small thing for them. And so he would climb up on the toilet like a monkey. And it was like, he would go on it from the front and his hands were at the back and his feet were on the front of the toilet seat, and he would shimmy around in a circle and plop down on his butt and land in the middle of the hole. And I don't know how he didn't just fall in every time. It was so funny. And we're like, so that's how you do it. Okay. And there's no way he would be able to do that if he was clothed. And maybe that's why it was like, only when he was ever naked or pantless that he was doing this. But it was so funny watching him like do that little circle and plop on the toilet. He wanted to do it because R was doing it, but he really didn't. Once daycare was like, you should do this, let's go for it, let's do it, he was kind of like, okay, it's not as fun anymore. And he doesn't mind it, but he doesn't want to go when we ask him to. We have, we say, listen to your body, let us know when you have to pee. Mm-hmm. But there are certain times where, like, if we're going for a big drive, you have to go pee before we leave the house. If we're going for a walk through the forest, you have to go pee before we leave the house. There are certain times that we're like, everybody has to do this. And Elle, the one thing he would always say to us was, I already did it. And this is like right at the beginning of like him learning how to talk. And we're like, this is going to be a hard one for you, but you got to do it more than once a day.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. And like constantly all day. And he does it with brushing his teeth, all these things. And thankfully he's out of this phase, but like having to do these things. And he's just like in his little tiny, cute little voice, I already did it. And we're like, ooh, tough lesson for you, kid, but you're going to have to do this a lot.
It'll be interesting to see what happens with the twins, because it feels like you can predict that like it's going to be really difficult. They're not going to get it. And I did that with the twins. I was quite convinced that Junior would be like an absolute nightmare to learn to try to learn this, and that Rose would be fine. Like Rose will get it. She understands and she can comprehend, but he's too busy. He's not gonna. And they completely are like the opposite. Not that Rose like doesn't get it. It's just that Rose is actually the one that's struggling to like be comfortable with it. Like she's the one that's asking to keep her diaper on in the morning. Like, and it's Junior that's just like, I don't want to wear a diaper. He's like the third of like R and L, because it's like boy loves to be naked. I don't know, Lucy. I don't know if the kid likes to be naked. I know you said that he doesn't like being like, dirty and that sort of stuff. And I know, and man, you dress that kid so well when you always call him a little adult. I mean, his birthday parties, I see him dressed up and I'm just like, this man's got this boy's got style. He's got, but it's like, I don't know what it is with Junior, but it reminds me of L&R, of just like, that boy just like, if he doesn't have to wear pants, he's happy. Like he's just like, he just likes running around, and he just like, Rose is she wants to wear shorts. She wants to wear pants. Like she doesn't like the feeling of not being dressed, and it's an odd thing. Anyways, I don't know if that has any. One
of the things that like they talk about in potty training is like naked time, like naked time, and the kid was never like that. He doesn't like being naked. He doesn't like people seeing him naked.
He's
like he'll like for his Sterling and I, it's fine, but like one of the funniest things he does is he doesn't really like getting dressed though. Like he likes to stay in the clothes that he's in, especially pajamas. But then when like someone comes over, he'll be like, I have to get dressed. And he gets like really worked up about it. And he's like, they can't see me in my pajamas. And I'm like, why not? He's like, it's embarrassing.
Oh my goodness.
That's adorable.
But I wonder if that has to do with like, if that's a mindset that like a kid has, if a kid has that type of mindset, it's like snap into potty training so quickly, of just like, especially if you're saying that like the embarrassment, whether it is embarrassing or not to be wearing your pajamas in front of family or friends or whatever, is irrelevant. He finds it embarrassing, right? Like he finds that that's not comfortable for him. That's not a comfortable thing that he wants to do for whatever reason. So going back to, I think you alluded to it, it's just like maybe it really just, it comes down to the fact that like for him it's like, above all, I just don't want to be wet. I'm just hyper aware of just going, if I'm uncomfortable, I know how to stop being uncomfortable. And how I stop being uncomfortable is just I go to the washroom. For there to be a child that I know that it's like, it's almost like the embarrassment is what, I don't want to say fuels him, but it's like the embarrassment is what like he always has on his mind. And maybe embarrassment is the wrong word to be using, but it's like
I think
being uncomfortable and being that way is just like for him is like that's top priority, which is, you know, adults have that.
I think that you might be onto something with that. Is like the embarrassment of it. He doesn't want like someone to think that he peed his pants. I think that's definitely a possibility. Another thing, after you asked me earlier about it, something that we did do, and I remember this very specifically, was we did not, a lot of people like to put like potties around their house or like in their living rooms or like whatever, so that like it's there. We never did that. There was one, we have 2 bathrooms, there was one in each bathroom, and that's where we went. And I would say like, do you need to go to the bathroom? And then yes, no, whatever. Okay, let's go. And then it was like a thing, like we
got it.
It was like a whole thing. It wasn't just like go to the bathroom and like get it over with. It was like okay, we'll go to the bathroom. We'll go up the stairs. We'll go to the where the potty is in the bathroom, and like it was like a whole thing. And did you choose that because you wanted it to be like, well, this is eventually what it'll have to be? Like, it'll eventually have to be, like, as you work your way up, eventually you will just go to the washroom, like, as in you'll go to the physical washroom and you'll go on the toilet and you'll go, like, you made that conscious choice of just, like, let's just keep it in there? Because we're the opposite. We have potties everywhere. We have 3 of them now. I got one in the van, I got one upstairs, and I got one in the living room. Like, it's like I've got them, because they especially for Junior, he just gets so excited that he just needs something like that's right there for him to be able to go at. And obviously I've said Rose only wants to use the bathroom upstairs. That's it. Like she won't sit on the other potty. So it's like she only can go upstairs. So anyways, I was just asking why like you've made that choice, but if it's just to be like that's the process, it's like that's interesting. Rather than making it completely accessible to them. No, it's like you know that going to the bathroom is going to take time. It's not just right there, and so I think I don't know what worked. I tried,
but I don't know either. But it's just like, you know, but I'm trying to crack into this. It
didn't make it worse. We also didn't carry a potty in the car. I've never once put one in the car. Well, I think maybe we took one to a cottage, but like we didn't. You know how like you just said you keep one in the car. We never did that.
Yeah, and that's like benefited us like fully, is like because then people, and when we go on long trips and stuff, people are able, like the kids are able to use it. Michelle's been able to use it a lot, and it's great because then you don't have to like go and find like a bathroom or something. So I've always told people, like, if they ever ask for advice, that's the one thing I do. I stand by it, but again, it's like you didn't, and he's had less accidents than me, so it's like I feel like
in the last week.
I'm still like I don't know about you, Hannah, but I'm just still like I'm like 3 in his life. Like, yeah, it's just like
yeah. I'm flabbergasted. Yeah,
Hannah, you brought it up. We did do the reward thing, and we did it with little chocolates, and we made the very silly mistake of going, if one of them goes in the potty, then everybody will get a chocolate, like the 3 of them.
No.
So Michelle just cheers everybody to go to the washroom, because then she just gets free chocolate all day. So she's just constantly just like, I don't know how many times over the last like couple of weeks, like I'll take one of them up to the bathroom, or one of them will be sitting on the potty. We'll be working with them and trying to get them to go. Melissa will be trying to get them to go, and then I'll just be like, no, you don't have it. Oh, okay, all right. And then and Michelle will hear somebody sit up or like come out of the bathroom, and then she'll just be like, did anybody go pee? Did anybody go pee? Do I get chocolate? And it's just like, no, Michelle, you don't get chocolate. Nobody went pee. Like, we had to phase that out, and she was so disappointed. But it was to elicit, like, you can cheer for them. Like, cheer, like, you know, everybody gets chocolate, and then everybody can cheer and stuff. But yeah, that got phased out pretty quickly because Junior was the one that was going on the potty all the time, so he was just getting everybody chocolate. So everybody was cheering for, you know, just.
Sorry, I wanted to cycle back just for a quick second. I am also a potty in the car person.
Oh, are you? Okay.
It's not. It generally just lives there just because it's easier, so we don't forget about it. But we keep it in the car because we often do long trips. I go visit my parents, and they're like 2.5 hours away, so it's like a long drive. And we are in Manitoba. It's a long, flat road of a lot of nothing. Yeah. So it's a lot easier to just pull over and go pee in the back of the car or something like that. And we don't use it a lot. It's more of like an emergency because we have gotten rid of all the diapers. It's like, this is like if they wake up and we're like half an hour out, like, let's just go pee. I don't want to risk holding it and having you pee in the car seat. Also, Brandon, you asked a question and I don't remember exactly how you worded it, just about like the difference between mine and Lucy's kids. And I feel like this is, and correct me if I'm wrong, Lucy, I kind of feel like your kid is a little bit, your kid is the civilized version of my kids, and mine are just like the wild, like mine could have grown up in the forest, maybe. Yours is like civilized, loves to get dressed, uses the toilet. Mine's like, can we pee in the forest? Can we do a nature pee? Can I pee down the drain? Like, and like mine kids are naked. So like your kid is like the civilized kid and mine they're just like the naked wild children.
So because we don't have a car potty, which I think is like the norm, like I think most people probably have one. We were like, we'll just pee on the side of the road. Like, he'll just have a nature pee. He'll be fine. He'll just learn. He hated it. He hated it. He hated it. It was like, it took so long to convince him, like, it's just the side of the road. You're not peeing on someone's petunias. Like, it's like the forest. It's the wilderness. It'll be fine.
We were at the beach last weekend or the weekend before, and my kids would prefer nature peas. Like, they think it's at least R anyway, because he can stand and do it himself. And we were at the beach, and the family next to us overheard us because I was like, let's use the bathroom before we get going in the water. Like, we've been out and about for a long time. We've had lots of water. Let's go pee. And he was like, can I do a nature pee? Like, I really want to do a nature pee. And this beach was packed. And the family next to us, I can see the mom reading her book, just giggling at me because she's got a bunch of kids with her too, being like, of course that's what he wants to do. But like, there are way too many people around for us to be doing nature pees, like in this very public beach.
Did I tell you guys what happened on Friday after Melissa left? Have I told you the
No.
Okay.
No.
So this was my latest, like, and this was probably like not the lowest I have felt, but like the most chaotic it has ever gotten for me in terms of potty training. And that is, I'm trying to cook dinner. Sorry, I should say Melissa was gone for the weekend, so I was alone with the kids. So I had all 3 kids. And like I've said, my eldest is potty trained, so it's fine. So you can on a Friday, it's like everybody knows in the house we watch TV after school. We get to come home or we get to watch a movie and stuff. So she's on the couch and she's watching TV. And the twins, they are not in diapers. They are just in their clothes, how they came home from daycare or from school. And I'm in there, I'm cooking dinner, and I'm trying to get dinner ready as fast as I can because they all come home hangry from daycare because they've all been playing outside for like an hour in like the sun and stuff, and now they need something. And I either can make something before dinner I can either make something before I pick them up or I can make something after. But if I choose to make something after, it better be something quick. And so I'm trying to make something quick and I'm trying to rush around and I'm trying to get them and they're screaming at me and they're all getting all upset. And eventually they're not in the room or they're not in the kitchen at all. So I have about 10 seconds of like breathing room and then I start going, oh, I bet you somebody's peeing somewhere. And I turn and Rose comes around the corner and she's just like, potty, and she's now peed herself. But she's peed herself so much because she holds it that she has made the entire floor of our kitchen like wet, and she slips and she falls. And she's like, so she falls over and she's now fallen into pee. And I go, oh no, Rose. And so I have to like stop, like, I'm like, oh geez, don't burn dinner. Okay, so then go over and I like pick her up and I start to like, try to help her. And in that moment, second, Junior comes around and he just goes, potty, potty. And I'm just like, oh, did you have to go potty? Okay, like, and I check his pants and it seems that he's peed himself. And I'm like, oh, geez,
no.
okay. So I take off her shorts, Rose's shorts. I go to take off Junior's shorts. He's actually pooped himself. So he's got like, so it's all poop, so I then have to go, well, I don't have time to like take him upstairs to like wipe everything down. I can't, so I have to like pull the clothes back over top of him, so then I can like, just give me 1 minute, buddy. I'll take everything off the burners and then I'll go and I'll help you. And it's in that moment that someone knocks on the door. Like it's in, I literally, there was someone knocking at the door, and I stood there for maybe about half a second, and I just yelled, "Not now, not now!" And then I was there, and I don't know who was at the door. I have no clue, but I'm sure that person, whoever was there, heard chaos and then just heard someone screaming, "Not now!" and went, maybe this isn't the time to sell him anything. Maybe he's a little busy. But that was my Friday. Night. And anyways, everything was fine. Everything got cleaned up, and they all helped, and it was fine, and everybody had like a lovely dinner and stuff. But that was about as chaotic as potty training 2 kids, but there's 3 of them, and they're as it's ever gotten.
I understand why you were drinking wine on Friday night.
Yeah.
There.
It all makes sense now.
Yeah, I didn't hear the story, but I did hear that you had lots of wine. So
there now
I would also have a big glass of wine too.
We've now connected it. Oh, it was more than a glass, but I
If you enjoyed this episode, please rate, review, and subscribe. If you want to chat with us, slide into our DMs, leave a comment, or email us at thestayathomespodcast@gmail.com. Bye!